I think my time is better served to maybe talk about more of the specific things like Senator McCain asked me about and some others, and maybe weave in some of my experience as to how it formed my judgment, rather than going through a 12-month journal of my time in the jungles when my brother Tom and I were both wounded twice together. 1968, when Tom and I served there, was the worst year we had. Those who may not recall that year, we sent over 16,000 dead Americans home. Now that's unfathomable in the world that we live in today, 16,000 dead Americans. I saw that from the bottom. I think Chairman Levin, in an accurate and appropriate quote about what I said in his introductory statements about what formed me. And it directly goes to Senator McCain's question about the surge. Just as I said in my statement, I had one fundamental question that I asked myself on every vote I took, every decision I made. Was the policy worthy of the men and women that we were sending into battle and surely to their deaths? And in many cases, unfortunately, tens of thousands of cases that we're living with, these poor families are living with, wounded, the results, the consequences. I know it's easy here, it is anywhere, if you don't have a connection to some of this, to see these things a little differently. It doesn't mean I'm any better, Senator. It doesn't mean I'm any smarter. It doesn't mean I'm any more appreciative of the service of our country. That's not it. I saw it from the bottom. I saw what happens. I saw the consequences and the suffering and the horror of war. So I did question a surge. It wasn't an aberration to me ever. I always asked the question, is this going to be worth the sacrifice? Because there will be sacrifice. In the surge case in Iraq, we lost almost 1,200 dead Americans during that surge and thousands of wounded. Now, was it required? Was it necessary? Senator McCain has his own opinion on that, shared by others. I'm not sure. I'm not that certain that it was required. Now, it doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean I didn't make wrong votes. But that's what guides me. When you asked me the question about my time in Vietnam and was I wounded, well, I was a very insignificant part of this. We were just doing our job, Senator, as every military person knows that. Some of this committee has rather distinguished members who served, starting with Senator McCain and the sacrifices he's made to this country. But it does condition you. I'm not shaped, framed, molded, consumed by that experience. Of course not. But it's part of me. I tried to explain that in my opening statement. We're all shaped by those experiences. I hope that experience that I've had is for the better. I hope, if I have the privilege of serving as Secretary of Defense, it will put someone in charge at the Pentagon, and not questioning past Secretaries of Defense. I can only speak for myself, who understands the realities of consequences of war. It doesn't mean I'm better, but that's who I am. I don't walk away from that. I acknowledge that, but it doesn't consume me, Senator. I don't see the lens of every world event and whether we should use American power through the lens of Vietnam. But it is part of me. It is part of that lens. I think that's for the better. I think we need to be cautious with our power. I think we need to be wise with our power. We have great power. We have awesome power. No nation in the world is even in our league. We have done so much good with that power. I don't think there's a nation in the history of man who has ever been as judicious and careful with its power as we have. and I want to make sure we continue to do that, as you all do. We'll have differences, Senator, on policies. But all I can do is my best based on my own experiences, and as I also said in my statement, reaching out, listening, learning, never knowing enough, understand circumstances change.